Hey,
Well.
what's up, everybody? Welcome to the rundown. It's supposed to say week 14, but I didn't edit it because I'm an idiot.
Well, technically, we're doing the week 13 breakdown.
No, that was last week.
Week 13?
That was last week. This is the week 14 breakdown going into week 15. But it is what it is.
The season is almost over.
It is. The season is almost over.
Can you believe
How are you doing? To be honest, it's been a long season. I feel like it has been one of those seasons where it felt like all the shenanigans with Cricket Pete and all the changes that have sort of come through here and there. Evening, Gary. Evening, Simon. And Gary wants to know. Simon wants to know what's for dinner.
Pizza and salad.
Pizza and salad.
Hey, it's a nice balance.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a long weekend. Obviously, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is me. I am the elephant. This is the room. Yeah, I knew this was coming. Here we go. What was that? For fucking 2 minutes in. 2 minutes in
already.
Yeah. The elephant in the room is me. I'm on location. I'm currently sitting in a lovely Premier Inn in Aberdeen for work. So there it is, Joe, the Premier Inn swinger. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself up in the rubbish truck. There's gonna be outside noise. There'll be somebody who gets stabbed. There'll be smackheads and everything else. Like you can probably hear the sirens. There's sirens on at the moment.
That's completely caught me off guard.
Yeah, no, on location because of work. So it is what it is. The G-Man, the cheaters in the house.
Oh yeah, why is Micah? Oh God, Lord.
Why are you stabbing people, Micah? Why are you stabbing somebody?
Look, I get it. I'm from North London. All right, I get it. But let's kill this.
I am. There is a few things that obviously we've got to talk about today because, and I think when me and you were talking about it, I lumped them in the category of what the fuck happened, and we've had two of those mentioned already. So we've had Gary bring it up, and then also we've had the G-Man mention because I want to know what the fuck happened there too.
I could tell you.
So which game did you go to this weekend?
I went down the road, so I went to Cheaters versus Blitz.
You did go to the Cheaters versus Blitz. Okay.
Yeah. I was tempted to go up to Manchester. The temptation was there, but I decided the smartness in me decided to stay my ass home and not travel that far.
I don't because there's no I don't have the Cat Tim with me because there's no Scottish games this week. I don't have to predict any Scottish games, so I didn't take the Cat Tim with me.
But no. Went down the road and watched Hertfordshire versus Blitz.
Yeah.
And even though I picked the Blitz to win.
You did. I was looking through the predictions. I was like, oh, you jammy, but you had a good week this week, bro. You had a good week this week. You only got 2 wrong.
I got 3 wrong.
No, you did 2. Sorry, 16. You went 16 and 3. Yeah, we both had the Cornwall. What the fuck? You picked the Surge, and we both had the Steam, which again, that's another what the fuck.
So, yeah, I went down to Hertfordshire Blitz, and I'm not gonna lie. After the first game, I thought I was very valid, and it proved that I was very valid and right in my thoughts that the cheaters. Police, Jesus, all right.
Right, I was gonna say, can you hear these sirens? Like,
I'd say that my prediction that the cheaters' offense isn't where they need to be to survive, potentially to survive next year.
Oh, because obviously coming up, we're going to see one of, and we'll do a very quick playoff primer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the run. I'm stashed out in a hotel room. Just, we'll talk playoff primer as well because we've got. I've done a very rough sort of estimation of what I think the playoffs are, just because I couldn't remember all the tiebreakers. And again, I'm on the run in a hotel room. I didn't have all the resources at my disposal. But obviously, it's one of what I personally believe is going to be one of either the Mavericks or the Knights coming up.
Probably the Mavericks, but yeah.
Yeah, Mavericks. I'm going to leave the door open. So because obviously the other 4 teams that made playoffs are still Apache, Stallions, Warriors, Olympians.
Thing is, I've been shooting my mouth for full season. And I can't go backtrack now. So
no, you can't. You got to
stick with my guns, and I'm gonna stick with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely for sure. So someone's coming up that's going to leave. Sort of Solent is gone. They've been the bottom of that division this year, clearly, sort of far and away.
Yeah.
That is going to mean that now a recalibration of sorts for the bottom of that division, because there'll be the Blitz are showing signs of life. We thought that was going to be a struggle after we watched the first couple of games, but they're showing signs of life. The Cats look like a good outfit. The Cats look solid.
Yeah, until they meet a team that's better. That's got a bit more.
Yeah, unless they play like the Warriors or the Aztecs, sure. But that's the majority of teams just in the Prem. Like,
yeah, that is also true.
That's the thing. You take out sort of like the top, I would say, arguably 3. Like, I don't even know if you put the second team from the North in there. You
don't. Like, you can't.
Yeah. So you look at Warriors, Aztecs, Titans. Like,
who else is there? And then it's whoever's next up north.
Can't back the Cats after 3 out of the 3/4 of the squad decided not to travel to Bristol.
Now, was it their choice, or were they not allowed off base? That's the question.
They haven't got that many Americans. Stop it.
They don't.
Stop it.
USA Cambridge Cats. No, that's for another team that a lot of people are calling, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how with either the Mavericks or the whoever comes up. If you're saying the Mavericks, I'll say the Knights. But whoever comes up from that division, how they sort of equate themselves against that competition coming up, and whether they can hold on, because they've avoided the one and done.
That is true.
But so did Solent. Solent avoided the one and done,
and then they went down. Away.
But then dropped the following season. So,
see, in an ideal world, what I would prefer is that the 2 teams that make it to the playoff, the South finals and the North finals, they both just get bumped up into the Prem, so that the Prem is a bit bigger with better teams.
Like a 17 Prem.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're doing that, you should probably have the winner with automatic promotion, and then the loser of the final faces Solent to see who stays.
Yeah, they face the relegated team to see who goes up or comes up.
I feel like that's a bit rough to just drop. That's a bit rough to drop Solent and then bump 2 teams up in their place. So,
True.
I always feel like the promotion relegation should be what's going on. Like, you should be able to fight for your position to stay.
Because that's what Germany does.
The promotion relegation.
That's what they do. So they do when it comes to the end of the season, they split it. So whatever team's getting relegated, they will face the team that's in the division lower. And if the team that gets relegated can beat the team that's meant to get promoted, that team stays up.
Yeah,
if they lose,
I'm of the opinion that that's the way. Like, obviously, like I get that, where I say you should fight for your survival. That's what you've been doing all season, obviously, and you've sucked it up. But sometimes there is a big gap between Prem, Div 1, Div 2. We've seen it time and time again. So I feel like that there should be a playoff match that happens between those teams, but it won't, so it doesn't really matter. Right. So you didn't think that Hertfordshire were going to be sustainable. You said that earlier in the season. Then you did say, because obviously you picked the Blitz this time around. Yeah. But you said after the first fixture you thought the Blitz would beat them in the second time round anyway. So you've sort of held that belief for a while now.
Yeah. So obviously the Blitz had a change of QB, so that kind of made things a bit different as well. They did start George, who was with the Bs throughout the year, and then obviously got promoted up to the A's for the last couple of games because of obviously starting QB got injured, and he had to have surgery. Oh, that's too dark.
Yeah.
So he's out for the season. So the George come up from the Bees and he put on a show yesterday. He put on a really great show. He threw at least two. Don't count me for 100%, but I believe he did throw for at least 250+ yard touchdowns.
Oh shit!
So yeah, it's there now for the Blitz. It's there. They got to build on it. It's a very young team, and a lot of the B players did come up and play. So, Facebook feed has just died.
We've just been told the Facebook feed has died. We've got a producer in the background. Hopefully, he's going to be working on that, and he'll get that working.
But okay, yeah. But it was definitely a different Blitz that was playing because there were players that had obviously transfer day was probably a big show because there were some players that left from Hornets and joined the Blitz, and they had made a big impact as well.
I was going to say, has that sort of contributed to the Hornet? Because the Hornets' downfall needs to be studied. Like they had a small squad to begin with, and then we were talking last week. Like we both picked the Dreads because we were talking last week. We're like, do they play the game? Like it means they're getting relegated. It's a nothing burger for them.
Yeah, but it did. It wasn't a great game, but.
So Russ has mentioned that the Blitz running back number 22 needs to be moved up because he's mustard. I have no idea who he is.
No idea.
Looks like Facebook's back as well. We're sorry, guys.
What happened there? But we're back up and running.
Blame me. The cops found me. They cut the feed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So hopefully, in my eyes, I feel like there shouldn't be a lot of 2B, A, and B teams. Hopefully, the Blitz will become one team next year, and there'll be a full squad that plays in the Prem next year. But I don't know what's going on with the club. But that's my process. Is that's what should happen.
They're quite a storied sort of organization as well. Like they've got history. He's 100%. I have not paid for the premium super Wi-Fi. I am using my work phone to.
The work phone's probably faster, to be honest.
I'm using my work. I've got unlimited data on the work phone, so I'm hotspotting myself off of the work phone. So, the Blitz are quite like. I had heard about the Blitz before I moved over here. But what I'd been told about them was not true. But so I was still back in New Zealand the first time I heard about the Blitz, and that would have been 2009, 2010 sort of thing. And that was purely because I was playing in a fantasy football league. It might have even been a little bit later, like maybe 2011 sort of thing. Because I was playing in a fantasy football league, and one of the guys in the league named his team the London Blitz. And I was like, who are the London Blitz? Like in the group chat sort of thing. And he was like, oh, they're like a semi-professional team from London. And I was like, oh shit, okay, that's cool. Like, and I'll enjoy going to watch semi-pro players playing when I
the semi-pro bit is the bit that was
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the part that was the bollocks.
Yeah, but again, like for me, I feel like maybe if they grow on the people that had joined later on and they keep all the players that are there, it could be something great. There is a big shout out though. There is one kid that has started playing this year. I don't know his surname, but his name is Jack. Phenomenal receiver and returner. I think the first game I went to watch was against against Cambridge, and he broke a kick return back for a punt return for a touchdown. And since then, it looks like he's just kept growing and kept growing. And he looks like he's one of those special ones. Once he gets it, he gets it.
Jack Hoffman.
That's such a bad joke because that is from What Happens in Vegas. That is, but no. But yeah, as I said, the cheaters, you can see where the problem is, and the problem is with
Ron is very happy with himself on that.
I know he is very happy. But no, That's my thought process. It's
do you actually know who? No, he's gone. I was going to ask, does he actually know
who
it is?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. That's what makes it even worse. But yeah, for me,
I thought we might have got a Mehoff, like MEHOFF. Like I thought that's, but no, we got Hoffman instead.
But yeah, that's what that's where my thought process is, that for the Cheetahs, it is the offensive side, and they can't be a second half team. They can't start getting the ball to the receivers in the second half. There were a lot of opportunities that were dropped. There's a lot of times that the ball landed in the receiver's hands, and you never guess what happened. It landed like that, and it went like that.
They've got some bona fide running backs.
They do.
Like, they've got some ballers at running back.
So. They do, but it's as if they start playing in the second half, and it's too late at that moment in time.
Especially in it works in Div 1 because you can get away with it. You can't get away and I remember this, like the only team I know that can get away with being a slow starting team,
Warriors,
is the London Warriors.
Yeah.
Because
that's literally it. Because if your team, they can pass it as well. If your team is a running game, is basically your most effective thing is running. You cannot start that in the second half because you're running the clock down. You're losing your time. And
the other thing is you've got to essentially have some of the best players in the country if you want to be a slow starting team. Like you need to be able to run the opposition down in terms of running up the scoreboard, and that's not where the Cheetahs sit currently. But they've got a whole off season to sort of work on things. They've congratulations, evening Jimmy. Congratulations to the Cheetahs. They've survived their first season in the Prem. I would go so far as saying it's possibly a successful first season because they didn't get relegated.
I'd say it was successful because there was a lot of games.
They split the series with the Blitz.
Yeah.
They didn't get relegated.
They played well in most games.
Yeah. And they're competitive in not all, but
in the games that they need to be competitive in, they were. Yeah. So it was a good season. Just a little few tinkers here and there with some players, and
it'd be interesting to see what happens in the off season in the London region, because obviously we've got the Hornets are going down. The Hornets they're off. They're going down they're gone to Div 2. What happens to the Hornets? I have no idea.
We don't know. We don't know if they'll have enough to register their Yeah, we know their season's finished, but will they survive that off season?
No, the season. No. So the season's not finished. I get that. They've still got a couple of games to go, but it's mostly finished. They're not getting relegated.
It is what it is, and that's that. So
yeah, they've got a game against the Cats in 2 weeks, and then so that will be one of those ones that we've talked about where they'll be looking to still be competitive in, because the Cats have had a good season. This year, the good second season in the Prem.
And the Cats are the third best team because with that loss to Blitz yesterday, Cats have secured the third place. Which, in my eyes, I feel like the playoffs should be 4 teams from both divisions that make it through, because it makes it. What's the point?
I get it, but it kind of just feels like extra games for no reason whatsoever, because
I get it. We already know who's going to be in the final. We already know what's going to happen. We already know who's going to be there. So it's like, So
I don't know who the man is, but Purple Foo's got a question for him.
But yeah, I get it. We all know for the beginning of the season, it's going to be Titans versus Warriors in the final for the third time in a row. Yes. Who's going to win it? We don't know, but we have that annoying question to answer in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, so the Cheetahs have the ability to finish up their season with a 4-6, and I believe if they do that, and then if the Blitz, who have the Blitz got remaining?
Bristol twice.
Bristol twice.
Yeah, home and away.
Yeah, so Hertfordshire, if they beat the Cats, they will finish. They'll finish in fourth above the Blitz, because you would assume the Blitz are, no offense, but they're probably going to drop both Aztecs games.
Yeah, probably. And Aztecs have travelled well this year, so it's gonna be it'll be simple for whatever they want to do.
Tom would like to see it expanded to top three, with the one seed getting a bye, playing the winner. So essentially, we similar to what we have in Div 1.
That would be a lot better. Actually,
nice to see who's the third place, North v South. That would be, I'd enjoy that. Yeah, if we expanded it to 3, because that way at least, because even for Div 2, 50% of the division makes playoffs currently. Yeah, so it's like if you expanded it to a 16, if you expanded it to a 16 playoff, and then you could just see,
because
the you'd end up with the Warriors versus the North third seed, and you'd end up with Titans.
No, because if the number one seed gets by, it'll be third versus 2. Yeah, and then again we could potentially see different. We would probably see a different playoff for the semi-final.
I would really like to see that now that you sort of, I realize that Titans and Warriors get a bye, and now you've got, in this instance, you've got Cambridge and Bristol going up against Newcastle and Tamworth, which I think that would be some great games.
Which I feel that the way that this season has gone, it's made it a lot more exciting, because again, in the Prem, it goes down to that last game of the season.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. So should we jump through and have a look at the results then?
Yes. Should we start from the usual down below?
Down south. Go on then.
All right. So Division 2 West. What the fuck? Cornwall Monarchs 20, Sussex Thunder 7. So Sussex. I'm gonna say, well, apparently from what I think we heard, someone said in the chat that the game got called off due to a player injury.
Yeah, so game got called like halfway through the third.
Yeah,
but they were still down. They were still down a decent amount before the game got called.
Ryan, no knees.
Yeah.
Game called seriously.
Game got killed Q3 to a serious injury in Sussex. Sussex started their QB2 and broke his leg in quarter 3. I mean, all of these things aside, right? Game got called in Q3.
They got their win.
But that's the thing is, right? This is what makes this so sort
jarring.
Of not even jarring. It's amusing. It's amusing to me that Sussex wins the division, goes into playoffs, like
is the next their backups, and it's a big old hoo-ha that they finally won the second game.
But it's not just that. It's like we removed the wild card from the division, like from Div 2 to essentially. I can't remember what their actual reasoning was, but they removed the wild card from Div 2 for competitive reasons, like, because they didn't want 3/4 of the division to make the playoffs or whatever. Like they wanted to try and make it the good team. But the thing is, it's like, did the good teams make the playoffs? Like, is there any good teams in that division?
Sussex Thunder?
No,
that's it.
No, I don't know if Sussex Thunder are a good team.
To be fair, no, because they have the same record as East Valley Eagles, who are 4-3.
But it's not only that. It's. I'm pretty sure. I'm just going to double check this, but I'm pretty sure when Sussex played when they played their cross division matchups, they lost.
Yeah. So
they lost to the Tridents. So they played one cross division matchup by the looks of things, and that was 2. They played 2. They played the Tridents twice, and they lost both of them.
Yes.
So it's like, are there any good teams in that division?
Or are the Tridents just that good that it doesn't make a difference?
I don't know, man.
The thing is, look, as much as I know there's a lot of people that love playing Div 2, but I feel like it's time to start weeding out the unnecessary teams.
Well,
I feel like it's time to start weeding them out. Forget
Who
Division
are
2.
we classifying as unnecessary?
Just forget Division 2 and just make it Division 1. And those that don't want to play, don't play. Because
I don't know. The only thing I take away.
No, but
the only thing I take away from this is like, I believe Colchester are the best team in the division, but then obviously they lost to Ouse Valley, but then they turned around and beat the Panthers. Yeah, this is my takeaway actually. Sussex are try. I've been saying that for like 2 years. I remember when they had a head coach and he came on one of our streams and said they were going to go like undefeated in Div 1, and then they lost every game. And then he resigned. It's like,
it's hard.
Yeah. I think this is probably the key takeaway. Get the Glads out of that division. Get the Glads out of that division. Put them back up. Get the Tridents out. Where they belong. Yeah, Glads and Tridents
as well.
Yeah, true. The Tridents are good. There's two teams. There's two good teams in Div 2 South.
Yeah, so it's so, and then obviously in the next game in the East, talking about that now, Essex Tridents beat Adrian Cardinals 20-10. And then Colchester Gladiators beat Ouse Valley Eagles 46-3.
Beat the brakes off of them.
So
they took that loss last week personally, man.
Of course they did.
They took that loss last week personally.
How could you
now we get the Vanguard in as well. So obviously the Vanguard are coming in next month. Or next year, sorry, next month. So the Vanguard will be coming in next year because they managed to, thanks to Hereford, thanks to the Apache, they'll manage to fulfill all of their fixtures. So we now get the Vanguard in. Hopefully that gives us a third good team in Div 2 South.
Hopefully, but
actually, it'll take us back to 2 because either Colchester or Essex.
Yeah, or Glads will be there. So
you're based on current results, you'd assume Colchester goes up just based on the fixtures when they played Essex already. So that will leave us with Plymouth and Essex and just a whole bunch of also Rans.
Yes. So
Thanks.
It's just gonna be a load of nonsense, isn't it? So we'll see what happens.
Good work, Colchester. Way to finish your season strong, heading into the playoffs. Make it statement.
Exactly. You got time to relax and get things going. Talking about Division 2.
Well done, Cornwall. Well done, Cornwall.
Yeah, well done.
I'll say it. Well done. I came out earlier in the season. I was like, oh, they're fucking shot. They're folding halfway through. Like,
do you know what hurts me though? I was playing with the mind during the episode last week that I was going to pick them, and I didn't. Like, what the hell? What were the chances? But anyway, we
see if I keep the same energy when Plymouth get molested next season. Who's Plymouth getting molested?
Who by?
Who's molested?
There's no team in the South that's going to be good enough. If the rumors are true that Plymouth have like 300 players at practice sessions, or I can't remember if that was what the rumor was back before.
Yeah, so Scott's just mentioned with 3 being relegated from Div 1, who gets the third spot. So obviously I'm assuming we're seeing Colchester go up. We're seeing the Tridents go up. Who's the third team that goes up? I believe nobody should go up. Nobody else has earned it. Give it to Ouse Valley.
I'll give it to Ouse.
Ouse Valley beat Colchester.
But if they were giving it to champions, then I guess Sussex Thunder will take the last spot.
It goes to. I want to know who's molesting them.
Oh, they have 95 players registered.
Put the Vanguard, Hornets, Devils, OVE, Tridents, or Glads in one division next year and have a super Div 2 league. Absolutely. But
just get rid of Div 2 and just put them in Division 1.
Don't actually know how good Plymouth are yet, though.
It's very true. But again, you have the numbers. That means you can practice a lot of different things at practice, and your players won't get tired in tough games. You have players that won't be playing.
It's not only that. It's not only that. It's we've seen, like, we've had. Obviously, there's people associated with Plymouth who are in the comments all the time. You know, Simon's one of them. There's a couple others that are sort of propping up their team. Now, you take their bias out of it. We've seen a lot of feedback from teams that have played against the Vanguard and have come out and said, "Great setup. They're going to be really good." So I'm basing that on faith, and I'm basing that on the fact that, like, we're talking about, like,
This statement. All right. So they only beat teams with less than 20 players. Come on now. What do you think most of the teams in Division 2 are?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, mate, not even Div 2. Not even Div 2. We've got teams in the Prem turning up with 20 players. It's just fucking disgraceful.
Like,
how to ooze beat the Gladiators last week and then get the Cheats beat this week?
Who knows? That is a very good question.
Because maybe the Gladiators didn't play a full strength squad because they had nothing to play for last week, and then this week they did. I don't
had the respect to play at home.
We don't. Yeah, just going back to this one. Don't actually know. I truly think that based on what we've seen from other teams and from other heard from other people associated with teams that have scrimmaged them and things like that, we can take a guess, and I will take the projection over the garbage of what we've already seen this season where we've seen teams just
crumble.
Terrible.
It's just crumbling. I do feel that my thought is more teams coming in sometimes isn't a great thing. It's not a great thing always having more teams come in, but it is what it is. This is how it's going. Joe's has mentioned over use Ricky's to get some game time. Players trying new positions, haven't played before. They had nothing to play for, so the guys having fun. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And then nearly beat the Bobcats. So this is Josh talking about the Vanguard. Nearly beat the Bobcats at the start of the season. They're on a joke team. What?
So you'll just say some weird shit, man. Played everyone out of position versus Glads, a throwaway games. You can imagine it got ugly quickly. Game. I did think I was going to say we got told by Martin that there was going to be no officials at the OVE Glads game. So
this is how even if you ain't got nothing to play for, I understand it. You know, both teams are not going to go out to literally hurt each other now. You're just having fun.
Yeah,
sometimes that's what you need. You know, end of the season, let people play in certain positions. Obviously, linemen stay as linemen. Don't try to get too fancy and try to play tight end or receiver or QB. You know, linemen need to stay where they are, to be fair. So
go on, put a lineman at tight end. Let the big boy do something.
And then he takes it one step wrong and then twists his knee. And then
all right, Plymouth now face the Apache away, Hereford Stampede, and then the Oxford Saints. So this will be a good barometer for where we should be expecting them, because both Oxford and Hereford are bottom-dwelling Div 1 teams. Bristol is a Prem hopeful Div 1 team. Yeah. So we'll be able to get a good barometer. It depends. Obviously, the question will stand with the Apache of how they go about playing things with their playoffs secure and not wanting to get people injured. Like, I'm assuming for the Apache side of things, they're like, this is a really good time to get our squad depth, some run out, tune up some plays and things like that. But I don't think they'll be taking it lightly. So, yeah, it'll be a very interesting barometer of how we might get an idea of how the Vanguard are going to look in next season. So
that's what I'm interested in. The last two games, I want to know what the result would be of the last two games for sure.
Well, the other thing is, it's another thing of how much, like, what do Hereford and Oxford have to play for? Like, Hereford's getting relegated, or who goes down out of Hereford and Oxford?
I think Hereford is bottom of the division anyway.
So is Oxford though.
But I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm going to be honest. I actually don't know how it works, because you've got three divisions.
Norwich and Hornets are guaranteed going down because they both forfeited a game. Who takes the third spot? Is it Hereford or is it Oxford?
I think it might. I don't know.
Because the thing is, I wouldn't look at it so closely about like how divisions are aligned and shit so far, because they'll be realigning divisions and shit again next year.
100%. I think it depends on. I think it's points conceded. If it's points conceded, Oxford have conceded 340. Hereford have conceded 256.
So that would say
Oxford. Then Oxford will be going down. But I don't know how they actually.
Yeah.
How it's going to be done. We just have to wait until we see a realignment again. And see what happens from there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's I wouldn't base it on them dropping one from each division just because we'll see another divisional alignment. So If it's points against, then it's Oxford going down, and Hereford is staying up.
Yeah.
So Adams just mentioned there's no point saying helps the sport grow. Growth isn't always a good thing. Saturating the league with consistently shit teams, as has been done in the past, has led to knock-on negative impacts. Don't try and second guess Joe Walker and logic. I don't know who Joe Walker is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm assuming he might be somebody who does divisional realignments. I don't know. Cornwall versus Plymouth next year, please. Yes, that will be a banger. And the thing is that they will be in the same division next year because
they will, because they're close.
Yeah,
and they will probably play each other 3 times.
It'll be Cornwall, Torbay, and Plymouth will all be in the same division if all 3 still exist next year.
Will Torbay even make it out of affiliation?
Torbay still, they're not in.
Ain't they affiliate? They're one of the affiliated teams, weren't they?
No, Torbay and Cornwall are in the same division this year.
No, they're not. Torbay hasn't played any game. It's Cornwall, Swindon, Berkshire.
Oh shit! Yeah, no, I got Swindon and Torbay mixed up. I don't know what the fuck Torbay are doing. Torbay's not
doing it.
Yeah, Torbay's gone. Sorry, I got Swindon and Torbay mixed up. I'm getting my terrible teams confused. Same color fucking logo.
We have stayed a long time on Division 2 on the south. Let's move up to the north. Lancashire Wolverines 26, Lee Miners 12. That's another one for me.
Number 2. What the fuck?
I called it. I had a feeling that they were going to do it. What? I had a feeling that they were going to do it, and I'm quite happy that they did. If I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, what the hell happened? I don't know, but I'm not gonna complain.
This just goes into what I mentioned about Lancashire at the very beginning of the season, where I have no idea what they're going to put on the field each week. Like, they are such a hot and cold team where one week they are just dog shit, and then the next week it's just they're beaten. Like, I don't want to put Lee on a pedestal and say that the Miners are something special, but
they're 6-1. Either way,
I think there are 7-1.
Yeah, they would be 7-1 if it hasn't been updated yet. But yeah,
I think there are 7-1 because I think the only game left to play is the Surge and the Wolverines, which is being one of the replayed games this week.
Yes. So yeah, it's just one of those crazy ones. And then you have another game. Sandwell Steelers 35, Staffordshire Surge 7. Cool.
I mean, that's kind of been building though. That one,
it has been. We
saw a very close game the first time round, and then we saw a close game again the second time round, and then you got a fan, Micah.
I know. I tried to ignore that. I was really just ignoring it. You had to pick it up, hey.
that $1 million smile.
Nah.
Do you got like? Obviously, that's a terminology that's not an English terminology because you guys don't use it here.
It does get used.
Do you say million? Do you say $1 million?
I don't know. I use that phrase because I just
because obviously if I'm talking about the the New Zealand currency, I'm talking about $1 million smile. That's not really that much of that's not really much of a compliment because that's about 330 grand.
The £1 million with
the exchange rate.
But it's like the £1 million, the £1 million smile. It sounds very long and just unnecessary.
And you wouldn't say it with quid either. $1 million quid smile.
Yeah, like
so there's $1 million smile.
It probably is. Yeah, it probably is the same.
But then you should be fighting for the fact that it should be a $2 million smile because of the exchange rate.
But yeah, it has been coming for a while. Sandwell Steelers will probably end up getting promoted. Well, winning that division anyway. So
we've got Adam, and
what is going on?
Jordan. They're not. I wouldn't say they're going at it. It's civil conversation is the word I was looking for. So Jordan just mentioned that it's an amateur sport. The level of the product is irrelevant. The idea is to get as many people playing as possible. Brett Ball is Sunday League football, not semi-pro. And then Adam just mentioned, what's the end point of getting as many people as possible to play if the quality is shit? That's fine if you want a Sunday pub league, but there are those who want to do well, progress, win a championship, etc., etc.
Very true. And this is where the difference comes in on everything in the aspects, isn't it? Because now you have teams that people are like, oh, like especially when the players are young. There's a lot of players that are like, maybe I could actually do something with this. There's a lot that have gone to, there's people that have gone to Europe and they've made themselves a full-on life.
Well, not just with Europe, but like the International Pathway Program and stuff. It's and
CFL.
With the NFL wanting to push their expansion into like Europe and England. So 10, 15 years from now, we could be seeing a lot more sort of things coming through. And that will obviously change the way that grassroots football probably operates, because there'll be an injection of money, rah.
Yeah.
But it's not so much the it's you need to sort of steer away, possibly if you want to grow the sport in the right direction, steer away from the like amateur piss up Sunday league, like just in it for the beers and the boys sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Rems just said it's about accessibility for the sport. If you're cancelling teams because they don't match your quality, how to expect to grow teams or better teams to develop and get better? Because good players who want to play will continue to play. So if you cut a shit team, then you're going to be cut the wheat from the chaff. The terrible team like goes. The bad players on the team just give up. The good players go find somewhere else to play.
And it will also free up all the referees, so we can have a lot more better officiating.
We can have officiated games, not just coaches with a level 1 running up and down the sideline.
So, like, it's all great. Don't get me wrong. I love it that people want to participate, people want to play the game, people enjoy playing the game. But sometimes maybe, if you really want to play golf, play for a team that's probably a bit better, so you can develop and get a lot better. You might not see a lot of game time, but then we've also got to stop teams being created because one coach is feeling petty with another coach.
Yeah, bro. The amount of teams that get created, like it still happens now, but it's not as rife as it was about 5 to 6 years ago, where it was like it's the whole fucking Futurama Bender meme of I'm going to start my own team with blackjack and hookers, because like the coaching politics. So let Prem pay players and coaches. That way, talent actually travel to great teams.
We need the money.
Where's the money coming from?
We need the money.
And then we've just so the flag is a short-term future of the sport. The Olympics will make sure of that. Good players are not going to travel hours and hours though if they can't find a team.
Yes, they will.
Not taking away from ability of some areas to find talented players if you have no team there.
Yes, they will.
Yes,
they will. All right. Simple as this. One, to find players. Most players find this sport at university. Majority of the players that you see now playing, they've all come from university or they come from a youth program. If your team doesn't have a youth program, ideally you shouldn't really exist.
Your sustainability isn't there anyway.
Yeah. You shouldn't really exist. 2, I know a bunch of players that will travel up and down the country to play for a better team with better coaching. So people have traveled from Bristol to London. People travel from the north of the country down to Manchester.
Bro, people travel
2 hours, 3 hours.
Bro, people travel from fucking like the top of the Scottish Highlands to go play for like Edinburgh and East Kilbride because they're playing Prem ball. Like people will travel if the quality of football is what they want, they will travel. They do.
Exactly. And
if it's that important to them, they'll travel.
Yeah. If you really want to play this game, you really want to get better, people will travel. To say that people won't travel to play for free, you're going to play for a shit team and pay to get beaten up for free. You might as well travel and develop a lot better and win. Do you know? It doesn't make much sense in staying at a team where you're going to lose. You're most likely going to go winless potentially.
People want us to talk about the Steelers winning the division.
All right, cool. Don't they have one more game?
Yeah, but they've no, they don't, because it's Lancashire versus the Surge.
Oh, so Steelers did win. Nice.
Steelers won the division. Yep. Steelers. Steelers,
they're not coming back up. They're in playoffs.
They're in playoffs. Yeah. So Steelers and Staffordshire both make playoffs, and as do the Senators and the Steam. So Steelers win the division. NFC 2 West.
It depends on who they get in the next in from the East.
I don't think it does. Based on what we've just seen in the Darlington Gates hit, which we'll talk about very shortly, I don't think it matters. I think they win.
What the hell happened in that game? What the hell happened in that game? So as soon as we're doing that, Samuel, congratulations.
We'll cover all of D2 North. All of D2 North.
Gateshead Senators 26, Darlington Steam 16, and also Wakefield District Raiders 12, Lincolnshire Bombers 7.
So playoffs is decided on points conceded, not points differential. So based on that, for the tiebreakers at the moment, what I believe, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you fucking will, the D2 North playoffs are Steelers versus Surge, Steam versus Senators. So they're playing it. So it's 1v4. So yep. Steelers finished 1. Steam finished 2. Huh. Senators finished 3. Surge finished 4.
Yes.
So my belief is that Steelers play the Surge again in playoffs. Steam play the Senators again in playoffs. Yeah, so they play fun for them. Yeah, so then it's just the winner of
those two play each other in the final.
It's essentially which is kind of fun because it's like the best team in that division makes the final.
Yeah, exactly. They should move quarters are 12 minutes.
So it's winners and runners up as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, so it's top 2. Yeah, so that's exactly.
Yeah, but no. But I think Dale's talking about for seeding. I think for seeding though, it's still it's points because it goes like record in your division, but we've got
yeah.
So Darlington and Gateshead are both at 7 and 1.
Yeah,
and so are the Steelers. So all three, Darlington, Gateshead, and Sandwell, are all at 7 and 1. So after that, it goes to, I believe, points against in your divisional matchup, essentially. So that's where points against. So Sandwell finishes top on that, but then I think for Darlington and Gateshead, I think it's to do with like who scored, who conceded the least amount of points in their head to head.
So I can tell you that. Oh no, they're both 20. What the. All right, so first game, Darlington Steam beat Gateshead 46-20. Senators,
so that's a 26-point differential.
So Darlington will be top because Gateshead only beat them by 20.
Yes,
no, 10.
Only beat them by 10. Yeah. So that's why. So it's Sandwell 1, Darlington 2, Gateshead 3, Staffordshire 4.
Yes.
1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. So we've got Sandwell playing Staffordshire, Darlington playing Gateshead again.
To be fair, it should be Darlington versus Staffordshire and Steelers versus Gateshead, but
yeah, you'd want to see, you'd want to see. There's no seating in Div 2.
Oh, well, I don't know.
So if there's no seating in Div 2, then it's literally just one plays bottom.
Yep, and then yeah.
All right, so then we'll swap that round, and it's so Darlington plays Staffordshire.
Yep.
And Gateshead plays
Steelers.
Steelers.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't think it changes much.
No, it doesn't change much. It'll be the same two teams in the playoff final, in the promotion final.
The thing. It's because you don't have Darlington playing the Surge.
Yeah.
No. Steelers. Darlington doesn't play the Steelers
until the final, until the Div 2 final.
Exactly. So that's why I don't think it matters.
Or final. Yeah.
I think Gateshead won this time around. Absolutely cool, great, like well done. But I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things. I still think Darlington is a better team.
Me too. But seeing as we got Division 2, congratulations on those. Playoffs are around the corner for everybody. So, but we're going to Division 1 because there were some sort of good games, but then there were a lot of snooze fests as well. But we're going to go with Division 1 West. Bournemouth Bobcats 35, Somerset Wyverns 12. Not much of a surprise, is it?
No, something I don't know what's happened with Somerset, but they're not the team of like, and obviously I get they're a young team. They've only been around about 5 years or so, but they're not the team of yesteryear.
No, and luckily they
had first playoff games. Yeah, Mikey, first playoff games are the 4th.
Yes, the 4th. So just to clarify, Division 1 has a wild card round. Then they have quarterfinals, and then the semi-final, and then the actual final.
Yeah, so I think on the 4th is when we have wild card round.
Wild card, yep. And then the 11th
is when we see D2 and Div 1 will both play their
quarterfinal games, yeah.
Yeah, their semi-final games. Same with Prem as well. Everybody plays.
No, Prem won't play until the semi-finals.
Yeah, isn't that the 11th?
No, that would be the week after.
Oh, the 18th?
Yeah. It'll be the 18th because the finals are on the 7th and the 8th of September. So they give a week off for them to rest up and really
right. Yeah.
Go out and play. Yeah.
Bobcats, Somerset, they're a young team, but it's not the same team that it has been like the past couple of years where they've been sort of, fighting for, like last year, they were fighting for promotion. Well, sorry, no, they got promoted. They got promoted last year. They came up from Div 2 last year, and Div 1 has been a bit of a wake up call for them.
But luckily for them, they had Hereford, so they will survive another year. Now we move on to the Division 1 East. This game we streamed. London Olympians 13, London Blitz B 0. Huh?
I'm assuming that Joby is from Plymouth.
Oh, okay.
So we've got the Plymouth. We've got the Cornwall. Obviously, like the Devon Cornwall rivalry is just, do you put the cream on top of the jam or the jam on top of the cream? Like it's just unparalleled. But yeah, so Joby's mentioned the Monarchs keep talking big, refuse to play us, got no more games. They've got no more games this season. They didn't make playoffs, and won't make sure we get into the leagues that they have to travel less, all bark and no bite. So essentially, they weren't opting themselves up to play one of the associate games for Plymouth to help them get into the league. And
they wouldn't want to, would they? Because then if they get whacked, then it's just going to be like, oh, we really aren't good.
We got clapped by a brand new team. Hey, they beat Sussex.
Yeah, true. They did.
They beat the division winners. Bro, division winners went 500. What the fuck? Oh Jesus! God. This is some NFL level bullshit where you have like a 7-9 team winning the division.
What Seattle Seahawks? I remember
the Seahawks.
But isn't that the same year that we had the Beast run?
Didn't the 7-9 Seahawks beat the Saints? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the Bucks also made it in at 7-9 as well.
Yeah, they did. But
who won that division last year?
That division changes every year, but I think Tampa Bay did win it this.
I think they were at like 9-7 or something.
Yeah,
last year.
They did. I think they did win it as well, so it made it a bit easier.
But I think the year before, like there was like everybody in that team was fucking 7-9.
Yep. Anyway, NFL talk. We can do that. You can do that another time.
Yeah. Me and you can have those conversations offline.
But London Olympians beat London Blitz B 13-0. This is a playoff team that is beating a struggling Blitz team.
I mean, it's Blitz B.
Exactly. They're struggling. It's a struggling Blitz B team, and the Olympians struggled to beat them. Don't get me wrong. I watched the stream. The London Olympians got in their own bloody way. They kept fighting and arguing with people and then getting penalties. Like,
I mean, they didn't really have much. They didn't really have anything to play for. Like maybe a little bit of seeding to see whether they had to go to Bristol or South Wales.
Either way, they're traveling. So what's like?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not a big. That's the thing. And the thing is, the difference between Bristol and South Wales is
2 hours.
Yeah, no. What?
It's about an hour and a half
from Bristol to South Wales. No,
where South Wales play is an extra hour from Bristol. It's like an hour. I'm sure it's an hour and a half.
You started with 2 hours, then went to an hour.
I'm sure it's an hour. I'm sure it's an hour and a half. I'm sure it is.
Because
now you make me check.
They're in a fucking city name, like a town I can't pronounce, aren't they? Aren't they in like Llanelli or some shit?
Somewhere like that. Somewhere. It's just very, very far. But yeah, like I understand that you have nothing to play for, but at the same time, you probably should have put on a lot more points than what you have put on. In my eyes, that's just me. That's just me. I would have. I don't
know. I'm not going to hold against them. It feels like the Blitz might have been playing for pride, and that was about it. The O's, it doesn't really create that big of an issue. Yeah, I mean, they got the win. That's all that really matters, and they were able to,
True.
Yeah.
Filton Bristol to Lilani is 59 minutes. So it was an hour.
Okay.
It's an hour journey.
That's what did you? Don't they pronounce like the double L's like a isn't it like Khan Haran or some shit?
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not going to try because I don't really want
to. So South Wales are in Newport Gwent. So yeah, it's about an hour from Bristol, give or take.
But fair enough. But you can't be getting into fights and putting yourself in holes, even though you got the win.
Hasn't that kind of been what people have said all year? Has been their MO.
Yeah, they've been fighting and like
they've had a couple of suspensions.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it, but I'm guessing most of the players that are playing, this is their first time playing because somehow Olympians are you always getting people that have never played before to play and they get them up to speed pretty quickly. But then
I'm gonna take your word on that. I don't have any insight whatsoever into the Olympians organization.
It generally does happen. Like Olympians have had a lot of players that some have gone played in Europe, some have moved on to play for Blitz, some have moved on to play for Warriors, some have just moved on to play at different levels in the continent. So they know where they're going, but it's just not sustainable where you're fighting all the time. People just want to aspire to higher and they end up leaving. But yeah, it's a confusing one for me. I'll be honest. I'd expect a better score.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't bother me too much. Like I saw it and I was like, "Yep, cool, they got the win," and that's all they needed to do. So I'm not gonna hold it against them. The big thing is now just we've got playoffs and everything. There's not really a weak link in the SFC 1 playoffs. Like the SFC 1 playoffs look really good. Like we've got 2 8-0 teams, and everybody else is 6-2. Oh, sorry, Apache is 7-1. Yeah, Apache 7-1. So we've got 2 8-0s, a 7-1, and then the last 3 teams are 6-2. So looks like we're going to get some really, really competitive playoffs.
Very competitive, and I wish we had something that we could have up to look at how the seedings would be. Obviously, it'll be East Kent first.
So Mavericks 1, Rushmore 2, Apache 3, Warriors 4. And then Olympians 5 and Stallions 6. So Apache will play the Stallions, Warriors will play the Olympians.
Yes. So talking about the Stallions, they're still the only team to not put 50 on the Oxford Saints. Wembley Stallions 40, Oxford Saints 0. Jeez, man. Like, what? Will Apache get promoted? We don't know how that would work. I think this is something that we've been thinking about for a very long time.
So I think they can because they are not. It's not the same as Blitz A, Blitz B.
They're not affiliated with each other.
They're a separate entity.
They run the same playbooks.
Pardon?
So
I don't know about the playbooks, but they are separate. They are separate entities. From the guys that play for the Apache that have been linked into the chat and everything, they have been adamant that they've been their whole thing is we're going into the Prem. That's what we want. Yeah. So, as Adam said, will the Apache get promoted? They need to get to the final. Yes. if they make the final, then they will. They'll be able to
get again. My finals pick will be
East Kent.
Obviously, I've been raving and shouting about them all season, so I expect them. I expect them to be there. Not hopeful. I expect them to be there. Don't get me wrong; it's a big tall tale, but I expect them to be there. You don't fail. It's a fail of a season.
I think it'll be Rushmore, but I'm not going to count out. Like, that's the thing. I think it'll be a very close game between Rushmore and East Kent, but
I think it will.
But I do think they are the two best teams in that division in the whole NFC South sort of thing.
Do you know what's crazy is that you look at the playoffs, who's going to be there. The teams that we expect to be at the semi-final,
they are all good teams.
It's difficult to pick which game to go to, which game to actually go watch. Well,
that's the thing. So, but the other issue is they are apart from Mavericks Knights, so once we get past, so the wild card for the SFC 1 South, it's all in the southwest. Like, it's the Stallions at Bristol, it's the Olympians at the Warriors.
Yeah.
So,
and then if both Stallions and Olympians win, it's all basically back.
It's all local for you, yeah. It's all sort of in the Greater London area, you know. Because it'll be. It doesn't matter what happens. The next two games, so Mavericks and Knights have secured home games.
Yeah, and they played out their season, so they're just chilling and just gathering up rust while practicing.
Exactly. So no matter what happens with these wildcard games, doesn't matter. Apache, Stallions, Warriors, Olympians, doesn't matter. East Kent has a home playoff game. Knights have a home playoff game, and then
everything
you would
go through East Kent. Ideally, that's where it should go through.
But it's unless both of them lose, they would both have to lose for it then to be, somewhere not in the London area. Yeah. Like, the Apache and the Warriors would have to beat their respective opponents
and then travel,
and then both of those two beat their respective opponents,
for it to be,
and then you would have the game in either Bristol or South Wales. Yeah, so there's a lot that would need to fall for that to happen.
But the thing is, the traveling is what's going to kill a lot of teams. Let's be real. The traveling will kill a lot of teams. So
that's the thing. It was massive for both South Wales and Bristol to sort of secure those home field for the play, at least for the wild card anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to be traveling for that. But since we're talking about that, let's talk about the other Division 1 Central game. Didn't mean anything, but it was the game that we didn't think that was going to get played.
It meant something to the Dreads. It meant something to the Dreads.
Yeah. Portsmouth Dreadnoughts 19, London Hornets 3.
Well, yeah, I posited this last week where I wasn't sure whether it was going to go ahead or not. Like I said, I was like, look, if you're the Hornets, you're already I thought it was going to get played, but I thought it was going to be a very fucking small team that turned up because they had to play it or they were associate. That's all there was to it. Like, at the moment, they were set for relegation to Div 2, but if they folded again, they were associate. There was no, so they had to play it, and they had to play it to completion. But it was more just like, what was the quality of people that were going to turn up? What was the quality of game going to be? And that was why we both picked the Dreads over them, because traveling down, a couple of hours down to Portsmouth for a game that kind of means nothing apart from the fact that you just have to play it in its entirety. And we thought there might be some Iron Man football being played from the Hornets guys.
It probably was. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, it was expected result. We're not surprised, and if everything goes the way that we expect it, Saints Hornets will probably go down.
Saints Hornets and Norwich. So Norwich is confirmed. Hornets are confirmed.
Yeah. So that's what we expect. But we also move up to the Division 1 Midlands, to a very fun division. Well, not fun, just a walkover for the Nottingham Caesars. Nottingham Caesars 41, Birmingham Bulls 0.
It started slow though.
It did. Actually, well, that's a lie. So I was speaking to Grant, and from what I was told was that so how many players do you think a team usually has for a whole entire game?
Oh, I reckon Nottingham's probably got a squad of upward of 60, probably.
Yeah, but the plays, like, so Nottingham normally
plays or players?
Plays.
Oh shit!
For a whole entire game, you should at least have probably about 60, maybe.
How many?
60, maybe, depending on the team that you're playing. If you're playing a team that you will be able to walk all over.
Oh, right. Are you saying unique play calls, or are you saying like how many like offensive snaps?
Offensive snaps.
How many plays can you run?
Offensive snaps,
right. Yeah. You'd want sort of between 60 and maybe 75.
They had 36.
Holy shit!
And they scored 41 points.
Jesus Christ!
From just hearing it is disgusting. But from what I heard is that Birmingham decided once they got the ball, they started to run the ball just to burn the clock. So they just tried to kill the clock. But I also got a message from a defensive coach from Nottingham, and this one kind of got me a bit. This one was kind of funny. They conceded 8. Well, they have more points in interceptions than they have points conceded. More interceptions than points conceded, which is kind of crazy. They have more sacks as well. They've conceded only 18 points and scored 3 defensive touchdowns. So they've basically, their defense has minus. they've got +6 on the teams that they played against.
Yeah,
that team is ready.
Wild. They're Prem ready, and that was why we've got the Jack's comment here that Nottingham are Diet Manchester. Yeah, like based on how they've sort of walked Div 1 so far, you would feel comfortable in putting them right up with sort of East Kilbride and Edinburgh.
Yeah,
next season in the Prem.
Yeah, because and also is that obviously the coach didn't want to brag, but he also has to give a big shout out to Grant, because the work that Grant has put into this team, he has definitely transformed it around massively over the last 2 years. Massively. He's
been so involved, he hasn't even had time to come onto the stream and chat with us anymore.
Exactly.
He used to be Grant used to be an every weeker. But if everybody wants to know, if everybody's curious about playoff seeding and everything like that and who will play what, Steve's knocked together some unofficial images. So obviously we're still awaiting BAFA confirmation, but this is based on what their tie-breaking rules says should be the playoff structure and who plays who. So they are all there on our Facebook page, on our socials, so Twitter /X, Facebook, Instagram, they're all there if anyone wants to see. So Darren's just mentioned that traveling will kill teams. You want to feel sorry for the Tamworth under-16s having to travel to the Highland Wildcats for their playoff tournament. I'm pretty sure the Wildcats had to do the reverse thing, travel not necessarily down to Tamworth, but I'm pretty sure they had to travel a massive distance last year for the for their under-16 tournament because they were fundraising. And there we go. Tom's just mentioned. You guys can.
Tamworth are not traveling.
You can converse amongst yourselves.
Oh God!
If anybody would know what's happening with Highland, it would definitely be Tom and Ben. So I will leave that for them to comment on.
Yes, leave that alone, boy. Yeah. But yeah, the Midlands, it's all Caesars. It's not.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's not
100%.
But the other game in that division, we both got right. Northants Knights 21, Leicester Panthers 14. A lot closer than I thought.
Yeah, good game for the two of them. Nice way for Northants to close out their season though. They finished that with a win, I believe. Winning season for them. 4-4. They split. They finished with a 500 record. So comfortable there. Just missing playoffs. Shropshire went 5-3. So.
Well, Shropshire had it locked up 2 weeks ago. To be fair, once they beat
Yes.
Birmingham, so
yes,
they had it. They were nice and relaxed and comfortable.
But they were so that was the North Ants were the next team in line because we see Sheffield at 3-5, Chester at 3-5, Clyde Valley at 3-5. So would have been North Ants. It's a good season for them to build off of for next year and look to sort of make the playoffs pushing in because there'll be no Nottingham next year. So
that is true.
you'll have Merseyside. You'll have Merseyside instead. So
that'll be very interesting. But then we move on to the division that last year we went to Chalky 1 week, then
and then Loughborough for the fight. Yeah, because I remember speaking to Tom and Ben about this. I knew that the Wildcats had a fucking mission for traveling, and they had to do a lot of fundraising. Highland have one hell of a setup, have picked them for national finals. They do. I've been to the Highland setup. It's incredible. I feel like so many other teams should be replicating what they've got there. So
fair.
I got a tour. I got a tour and I got some merch.
Where's the merch? You don't wear it?
I do indeed.
When did you wear it? When was the last time you wore it? On street?
About 3 weeks ago. No, about 3 weeks ago. And literally, when I got snapped, stand on the sideline at the Gateshead game, I was in my Highland merch.
Fair enough.
Granted, they gave me like 4 t-shirts, but only one of them fit. The other 3, the missus wears. She reps the Highland Wildcats more than I do. So,
then we have Division 1 North, which we love this division.
Yes.
We had Scunthorpe Alphas 23, Sheffield Giants 7. Well, this division's obviously wrapped up. It is the Yorkshire Rams that are going to win this division. Actually, there's one more game, apparently.
There is no. So Yorkshire still plays one more game against Humber. So that's just
all right. It's wrapped up there.
Yeah. It's a replay of an earlier cancelled game due to a waterlogged field. But yeah, Yorkshire has it locked up. They play Humber later on. This coming week. There's 2 games this week. It's the rescheduled Lancashire versus the Surge and Yorkshire versus Humber.
That means the game that. Nottingham's played all their games. Okay, so
Nottingham has played all their games. So Nottingham finishes 1, Yorkshire finishes 2.
Yeah,
and then we've got Glasgow at 3, Scunthorpe at 4.
Yeah,
Glass at 5, Revs at 6. So
apparently, depending on how it gets.
So Shropshire travels to Glasgow, and Inverclyde comes down to Scunthorpe.
Yeah. That's about right.
And then the winner of Scunthorpe Inverclyde plays Yorkshire.
Yep.
And the winner of Shropshire Glasgow plays Nottingham.
Unfortunately, have to travel back down.
That could be a hell of a travel for Glasgow down to Nottingham.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jesus.
Mind you, that's honestly it could be the same thing for Inverclyde having to do back to back into Yorkshire sort of thing. So because Scunthorpe is South Yorkshire, I believe.
Oh, is it? Oh, fair. Didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Scunthorpe's in South Yorkshire. It's along that coast or that area. It could be North Lincolnshire. So it's even further south than South Yorkshire.
Fair enough. But seeing as we're talking about the Scottish player teams, Glasgow Tigers 21, Highland Stags 0.
Cat jar, right again.
And I thought, what the hell, Stags will screw me over. Let me go with the Tigers. Got it right. I'm happy.
It's been a bit of a rebuilding season from what we've heard on the Stag sort of. Yeah, so they've had a lot of first year players. I think their QB 1 and 2 were both first year guys.
Oh right.
Yeah. So I think the Roughnecks are in associate at the moment. Aberdeen. They're in the process of making their way back up to. I don't know whether they've played all their games or not. I should have asked Chris and Sean. I don't know if they're associated with the Roughnecks anymore, but they would still know what the fuck was going on. But I'm in Aberdeen. I might just go knock on someone's door, ask them. But I don't know. Again, we don't know what's going to happen with Div 1, like whether they'll keep a Scottish division or whether because
it's a lot to travel up there, and
because obviously we're keeping EKP and Edinburgh in the Prem. They're both staying. They have secured their spots for for next season.
Yeah, there's no Div 2, so it makes sense that they're just going to keep it as a Div 1. They'll probably just keep it as a Div 1.
Yeah, I'm assuming it'll just still be a Div 1 Scotland.
Yeah, But I'm looking at it right now. The Tigers won the division.
Yes, Glasgow did win the division. They won it. They won it due to sort of head-to-head points against.
Yeah,
because both Tigers and Inverclyde finished 6-2.
Yeah, and they both split against each other. Inverclyde beat Tigers 31-13.
Yeah,
but the Glasgow they beat them 49-21.
The Glasgow.
The Glasgow, yes. The Glasgow they beat them 20. Yeah, so interesting. Very interesting.
I think didn't Inverclyde and Clyde Valley played like 3 times this season as well. I think, so the Tigers played the Stags 3 times this season.
Yeah, and Inverclyde played Stags as well 3 times, and Black Hawks. Yeah. They played the Stags and Black Hawks 3 times, but only the Tigers twice.
Wow,
that's wild. Jesus, bloody hell. But yeah, congratulations, Glasgow. Came out of nowhere and stole that division from the Goliaths.
So the Aaron's just mentioned that the cat jar putting my record on its back and carrying me to victory over Mike. I honestly, when we get to when I put together our final standings for next week,
he blew me out the water with this year.
I don't know, man. We'll find. Yeah, but I think if you take the cat jar ones out of the equation and sort of even them out to like.
It would have been a lot closer. It'll probably be a lot closer, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because
there's been 1 or 2 that I took a risk on, like betting on the Saints against the Dreadnoughts.
I think the cat jar. I think the cat jar finished something like 9-2 or some shit like that. Like it's outrageous.
It could be a lot closer than we thought. Jesus. Right.
Tom just said he doesn't think that Aberdeen have played any games this year, so they will not be in.
They won't be in the league.
No, so they'll be obviously probably looking at associate again next year. So,
or even if they even think about.
I think I saw a post like that they exist, like a recruitment sort of post.
Oh, right. Huh. Okay.
Moving forward,
Premiership South. We've already spoken about the Hertfordshire Cheetahs versus London Blitz. Blitz 24, Hertfordshire Cheetahs 10. But there was an interest. Look. Next season, it'll be interesting for Cheetahs. We'll see what happens, but you can't be a second half team next year, and you need to get a QB that can pass accurately in the first 2 quarters, not just in the end of the third and beginning of the fourth.
I mean, I feel like 90% of the teams in the country need a QB that can pass accurately in the first 2 quarters of the game. Who else thinks Alphas can go all the way this year with how many good players they have in their squad? No, because they would have to go through Nottingham. And I don't think
everything goes through Nottingham.
Yeah, like if we took Nottingham out of the equation, I would say they have just as much chance as the other playoff teams to win that division. But I just don't. I don't give any of the other teams in I
can believe that statement as well. So next year, maybe they can get up, but not this year.
Like that's the thing. Like I feel like Yorkshire would probably have the best odds, and they've proven that being they'll go 7-1 after they beat Humber.
Yeah.
But Glasgow, Inverclyde, Scunthorpe, they've all got just as good of a chance as each other. But it's the division runs through Nottingham, and
there's always going to be one team that's going to be setting himself up.
I think I'll be so bold to say that Nottingham probably pulls East Camp Mavericks pants down as well. If they take the game seriously. They will. It's a championship game. You can't. If you don't take a championship game seriously, there's something wrong with you. Gotta get that ring.
There's something wrong with you. I'm sorry. You got to take it seriously, regardless.
Gotta get that ring.
But also, in the other game in the South, Bristol Aztec 67. I wish they just got a safety. And Solent 0.
It is what it is. It sets up. Obviously, we've got two back-to-back fixtures: Aztecs and Blitz, reverse and home and away.
It'll be at Finsbury Park first, and then it will be in Bristol the week after.
I think the Finsbury Park game will be the big sort of
show out.
Like it's the one that sort of tells me how that series is going to go. If Bristol go into Finsbury Park and beat the brakes off of the Blitz.
The second game won't be as.
It'll be, it'll be a non. That's the thing. If it's a close game,
if it's like two scores,
how well, because
if
how well do they travel?
Huh?
How well do both teams travel? Because I believe that
Bristol
traveled light a couple of times this year.
They've traveled the first game. They traveled well. I'm gonna be honest. They traveled well this year.
Okay.
So they probably will come down with a full squad, a full strength squad as well.
Well, they'll need to, because the Cats are still in the hunt for the playoff spot.
But they've lost to Bristol twice already. They've lost to Bristol twice already. I don't think that they will be able to.
They're only one game back, though. So if Bristol drops both games.
Yeah, because there's 2 games left.
No, the Cats play Warriors. Cats play the Warriors. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Cats have Hertfordshire, so can
they got Hertfordshire, and then they finish off the season with Warriors.
So then it would be if Bristol drops both games, it would finish 6-4. The Cats would finish 6-4 because they could beat Hertfordshire and then lose the Warriors, and then Bristol still takes it because they won the head-to-heads.
So
right. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
So and then we got to the north, the battle for Scotland. East Kilbride 28, Edinburgh Wolves 13.
East Kilbride are the best team in Scotland.
Yes, they are.
It's cemented.
Yes, they are, and congratulations. That's the only accommodation, Raul. Yeah, that's the only thing I can
second season in the Prem for EKP.
Is it the second season or is it the first?
No, Newcastle's first. So EKP came up.
Yes.
Did they? Or did they expand it?
No. EKP came up the year before.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, they came up the year before because I believe they got dog walked in that final the year that they got promoted.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's their second. I'm pretty sure it's their second season in the Prem.
Yeah.
They've got the free win next week, so they've got the free win slot. So that puts them at 4-4.
So they got Merseyside,
and then they got a bye week in their next game. But right, here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Because Tamworth. So if you want to speak about,
let's do. So Manchester Titans 55, Newcastle Vikings 20.
Right
now, carry on.
This is where it gets interesting because we knew that Manchester was going to beat Newcastle.
Right? Yes, we did.
That now puts Newcastle at 6-3, and they have one game left against Tamworth. Now Tamworth beat Newcastle last time round.
By 2 points.
Tamworth beat them by 2 points, 26-24. Now, Tamworth...
And that was in Newcastle.
So Tamworth has 2 games left to play. Newcastle's got 1. Newcastle has 1 game left to play. That is Tamworth. If they win, they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they drop to 6-4. Tamworth go to 5-3. And then...
but luckily for Newcastle, the final game is Tamworth.
Sorry, no, they would go to 5. They would go to 5-3-1.
Yes.
They would go to 5-3-1.
Yeah.
Then EKP has to play Tamworth. So because Tamworth has the draw, and the draw is against EKP last time round. So if Tamworth beats Newcastle, beats EKP, they're in the finals. They get the glory of playing the Warriors.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's it. So for Newcastle, it's winning them.
But
it's winning them. They beat Tamworth. It doesn't matter what happens in the Tamworth EKP game. It's irrelevant.
Do you know what my problem is? Is that we were told last week that they will be fine, that they will travel down to Manchester with a full squad.
Bro, they traveled up.
At this moment in time, right?
Now, where's that game?
I'm giving Tamworth's getting the edge on the fourth.
Right.
I think Tamworth will have the edge because
here's the Newcastle Vikings roster. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. They traveled up with 28 players.
And if they win, they have to they're gonna travel down to London with 28 players.
Oh, I mean, okay. I don't want to play this game. It's rude.
It doesn't matter, to be fair.
Essentially, cool. You're like, I need to make this clear. Like, well done, you made the playoffs. Whoever finished the second, well done, you made the playoffs. But it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
From that moment.
You'll see. Yeah, exactly. The moment you make the playoffs, and you know, if you're Newcastle and you beat Tamworth, congratulations, you made the playoffs. That's your season.
Yeah,
you're not beating the Warriors. You're just not beating the Warriors. Same thing for Tamworth. Congratulations. You know, you beat Newcastle, you beat EKP, you made the playoffs. Well done. Have your flowers, have your parade right then and there, because you're not beating the Warriors. You're just not. You're not good enough.
The only team that will beat the Warriors live in Manchester.
Yes.
And at the moment, the playoffs, again, they're not playing until what? The semi-finals on the 25th of August.
So Davey mentioned it last week when we talked about the Manchester game.
Yeah.
Right? We both said the Titans would win. I said by 10, you said by 6. And Davey said, is that not disrespectful? Or no, you said by 7, sorry. And Davey said, is that not disrespectful to Manchester?
It was, but I just want an entertaining game from the second team that's meant to be the second best team in the North.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just not there. Like,
I mean, but we wanted that from the Warriors.
A selfish fan
in Bristol. We wanted that from Warriors in Bristol.
We had it the first game.
We got it the first game, and we got it the
game.
And it was exactly the same thing in the North. We got it the first game when the Warriors played the Aztecs, and then in the second game, the team showed the difference in their talent, in their squad depth, in their resiliency. However, whatever the fuck you want to put it at, but they showed why they are the two best teams in the country for how many years running.
Do you know what changed it? That whole Bristol game, the second game, it changed it when the moment the whole thing, the game for most of the game was like that. It changed the moment Joe Hamilton caught that catch. The moment Joe Hamilton caught that catch within the 20 with red zone, something clicked, and the Warriors were like, "All right, cool, time to kill them," and then they just ran away with it. Bristol had nothing else to answer to it, so it was just like, that's what happened. It seems like that's what happened with Manchester. Manchester was like, "All right, cool, we're going. We're going to score our first touchdown. We're going to score our second, and we're just going to run away with it." Yeah. I was just like, Jesus. Every time I was listening to it, all I heard was, "Touchdown, Titans. Adam Bamba, touchdown. Adam Bamba, touchdown. Adam Bamba, touchdown." I'm just like, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We have the two best teams, our Titans and our Warriors.
So we might be able to say that it was because they might not have travelled well to Manchester from Newcastle's point of view. They've got the home game against Tamworth this week.
No, I don't believe it because no, I'm sorry.
Well, 2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks from now.
I'm not the traveling thing. I'm not taking that anymore because that's just a bullshit. That's just a bullshit excuse. Right.
Just thinking they've got a small roster.
Yeah, it's just a bullshit. Just say you got a small roster. That's it. Just say you don't have a big enough team. Just keep it 100. Saying you don't travel well is bullshit. Because I'm sure they traveled to Merseyside with a very good squad.
Well, I don't know if they did because the game against Merseyside they won 13-0. So I don't know if they did travel with a good roster to Merseyside
because they had a lot of players at the beginning of the season, and then it just died out. So
and that's the thing that I do not like is when I hear don't travel well at a Prem level when you're competing to like and again this is going to be a little bit like talking out both sides of my mouth because I literally just said like if they beat Tamworth, well done, your season's over. Like so it's a little bit like talking out both sides of my mouth by saying like if you're a premium team and you're in the playoffs, like you should be traveling well everywhere you go and everything. And then they might go, well, why are we traveling well to just get smacked by London? Like, what does it all matter?
If that's your if
but
you
you're
get
never going to get better.
Full process, then that's it. That's where your full process ends.
And that's the thing though, is you're never going to get better. You're always going to be an also ran. You're never going to reach the levels of a Manchester and a London if you can't sort of travel to these away games, get smacked, and go, you know what, we've got to get better. We've got to get more people. So Dale's mentioned that a lot of uni ballers have gone home now. Was always going to happen. So what he means by that is a lot of Americans have got on the plane and flown home.
No, the QB's still there.
Their student visas ran out, and they've had to go home for the.
No, the QB. I'm sure the QB is still there. I believe, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure, but I might be at the.
Well, they did mention the Durham QB was there, so I don't know if they're talking about the backup or the starter, but one of the.
I was gonna say there was 2 American QBs that I saw when I saw them play EKP.
Yeah, so some one of them's there at least.
But for Newcastle, you beat Tamworth, you're in. You get you've got the golden ticket.
You get the prize of facing the
golden ticket of a trip to London.
But hey, you know, Jamie Foxx starred in a movie called Any Given Sunday. Sorry, I tried to say that with a straight face.
Yeah. Really beaming.
Yeah, but yeah, the playoffs are around the corner, and
next week will be a full playoff primer.
Yes, it will be, because we have only 2 games, and that's in Division 2 West.
No, one's in Division 1 and one's in Division 2.
Yeah, that's what I was just about.
Sorry, I thought you were saying that both teams. I thought you were saying both games are in Div 2. I was like,
no.
Us.
But then obviously it is also the playoff starts in August for Division 1. But let's make our predictions for the 2 games that are being played next week. Well, then we'll have our playoff primer next week for Division 1.
Next week, playoff primer.
Division 2. So we start off with Staffordshire Surge versus Lancashire Wolverines. I'm going with the Wolverines. I hope they don't let me down, but hey, screw it. Fuck it. Why not?
All right. I'm gonna take the Surge. I think the back-to-back molly whoppings that they've received from actually only one of them was a proper molly whopping from the Steelers, but they've got to lock in for playoffs. They've made playoffs, but they've got to get it sorted. So I'm going to take the Surge.
And then we have Humber Warhawks versus Yorkshire Rams. I'm going with the Rams.
Oh yes, Yorkshire wants to finish it off, get that 7-1. Get that 7-1. So lock in that. Well, they've already locked in the 2 seed, providing they win. So.
Yes, and that's the predictions for this week, guys. That's the prediction. That's it. And apparently it's Apache.
Okay, let's make a prediction. Well. Let's make a prediction. Apache versus Vanguard this week. Aaron wants it on the docket.
I'll say Vanguard, because Apache will probably have a lot of their players resting and trying to.
That's sort of what I'm thinking as well. I'm wondering if the Vanguard do it purely because
I don't think the Apaches will allow a new team to come and beat them. But I'm gonna go Vanguard anyway. Screw it. They're the best team in court. They're the best team in that parts of the region.
In Devon and Cornwall.
Yeah, exactly. So let's let me go that way.
All right. Well, just to give you a chance to close the gap, I'm going to take the Apache.
You know you're going to win that one, though, yeah. Maybe.
I don't know, man. That's the thing. I think Apache could roll out a lot of guys that haven't seen a lot of game time. So.
True. But I went 16-3 this week, which I'm actually quite happy about. I'm not going to lie.
I think we still both tied for the best. Neither one of us have had a 1-loss prediction.
No, we both had 2.
We've both had 2. Yeah, we've both rolled out some 16 and 2s.
Yeah, man, this has been one hell of a season. It's been a very long. It's been a long season, but it felt short.
I'll need to get your week 12 predictions off of the Discord, because I haven't got them in here. So I haven't.
Right, it's right underneath that post. To be fair, I thought you put it in. That hold on.
No, because week 12 was when we were split apart.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But yeah, next week will be playoff primers. We should have a clear idea of who will be playing who.
Yes.
More of
it'll be locked in. It'll be locked in from a Div 1, Div 2 side of things, now, and Prem will tell us pretty much everything we need to know as well, because
because that will be
No, we'll be in the same position because we'll still be waiting.
We won't know until that Monday. We won't know until that Monday. But
yeah, we'll have a playoff primer and then we'll have our Prem predictions as well.
Yes, but then how do you want to do the Prem? Let's give everyone. How do you want to do the playoffs? Sorry, not the Prem. How do you want to do the playoffs? Do you want to start off straight clean? Just what the regular season results are the regular season results, and then we go straight to the playoffs and we pick what best.
Oh, right. So yeah. So regular season. That's the thing. I'll after we have the Yorkshire Lancashire game, I'll tally everything up and we'll see where we both finish for the regular season. The Prem picks are Prem picks. They'll be different. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah,
because that'll be interesting once we reach the semi-final version of the Div 1 South, because that's where
it's going to be a bit of a techie one, because I know the thing is you won't even make that travel down, would you?
Not for South game, no fucking chance, man.
But I'll see you in Coventry.
I think so. If it's especially if it's going to be like Nottingham. Tell you what, if Rushmore makes it, I'll travel down. If East can't make it, I'm going into hiding.
That's fair. Oh gosh, but we've got a lot to go through. Well, we don't have a lot to go through, but we've got a lot.
We've got some high quality stuff to go through next week with the playoff primer and predictions for the essentially games. It's going to tell us who's making playoffs for Prem as well. So because we'll have the Tamworth EKP game the Tamworth Vikings game to predict, and then the first round of the round robin between Blitz and Aztecs, and that will tell us essentially who's going in.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Right. Well, this has been the I know it says week 13, but it's the week 14 rundown. We will be back next week. I should be back away from my safe house and back in the office. So I'm Oz.
I'm Micah.
We are the Rundown, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.